Chapter 7. There are teachers at the school today. I did not think there would be. Not yet, anyways. Thought maybe teachers would show up when school started next week. Thought she and Uncle Potluck would have Mitchell P. Anderson Elementary to themselves. The teachers stopped by authorized personnel, asking about Uncle Potluck's summer, laughing when he tells them about the prize winning fish that he caught in the backyard puddle, or how in July he had visited a barbecue joint in Franklin County and met the Queen of England. Dainty thing, the Queen. Ate spare ribs with her gloves on, he says. Hound dog, true. Now, some of the teachers tell stories, though most of them tell skinny and pale, finishing quick so Uncle Potluck will have time to tell another. Some of them talk about janitorial issues, classroom windows that won't budge, and furniture that needs moving. Maddie writes those parts down in her notebook, filling up a whole page with things that they needed. Filling up a whole page with things that need doing. And who is this? The teacher asked. Maddie keeps her face to the notebook page, but she knows they mean her. Uncle Potluck knows too, says, This is my niece, Maddie May. She'll be starting in Paula's class next week. And they say, Well, welcome. And too bad Paula won't be here until Friday. It's nice to meet you. And Maddie says, Thank you. They favor sneakers. The teachers do. Most of them wear white ones with blue or pink trim. One teacher, a man, wears flip flops. He has hair on his toes. Maddie's glad she will not be in his class. Seems wrong to know that your teacher has hair on his toes. Every teacher who stops by says how lucky Uncle Potluck is to have a helper, and every time he says they are right. And then a pair of high heels clicks up to the authorized personnel doorway. I see her right, the high-heeled person says. Maddie's heart thumps. How does she know? And not anymore. At the same time, I used to carry a notebook when I was your age. I wrote great many stories in it. Maddie May, says Uncle Potluck, this is Principal Bonnet. Maddie waits for Uncle Potluck to say more, but he does not. We're very glad you'll be joining us this year, Maddie, says Principal Bonnet. I try to have lunch with each of our new students. Maybe you could read me some of your stories then. Maddie shakes her head at the shoes. I don't have stories. Principal Bonnet does not say speak up or louder or come again. She just stands there a while, like Maddie's words are taking their time getting over to her. She imagines that Maddie does a picture so strong that she looks up to check, half expecting to see her words floating, cloud-like, in the air. Principal Bonnet is shorter than she looks in the principal portrait. In the portrait, her eyes are crinkle-edged and one of her hands is resting under her chin. But now, both her hands are cupped in front of her and filled with doorknobs. Robert, the painters took these off when they did the offices, but they forgot to put them back on. Could you? Robert's Uncle Potluck. Takes Maddie a second to remember. Yes, he says. When would be convenient? He sounds funny, and Maddie turns to look at him. He's standing, formal, his hat wheeling in his hands. Anytime. It's not urgent, Principal Bonnet says. Though if you'd prefer to work without me getting in your way, you could try Thursday. I'll be in a staff meeting in the morning, and the office will be empty. Thursday morning. Uncle Potluck does not laugh or say that Thursdays are usually when he trains circus lions. He just says, Thursday morning. Principal Bonnet clicks inside authorized personnel just far enough to hand Uncle Potluck the doorknobs. He has to put his hat on before he can take them, and he does it quick, landing it sideways. He'd like to adjust it, Maddie thinks, but he can't with his hands full of doorknobs. I look forward to our lunch, Maddie, stories or not. Principal Bonet says, and away she clicks down the hall. It is strange, quiet, and authorized personnel. Like, rather than leaving doorknobs, Principal Bonet took something with her when she left. Uncle Potluck drops the doorknobs onto his desk, sits the director of custodial arts chair squeaking under him. So, he says, filling up the quiet of the room. Distracting day, this one. Makes it difficult for a man of janitorial disposition to concentrate on the multitude of tasks at hand. What was it I was about to do? Maddie checks her notebook. Third grade window, she says. Uncle Potluck raises an eyebrow. You've been taking notes? Maddie nods. May I see? Mama had asked to see Maddie's old yellow notebook once, but had turned her mind to something else before Maddie could show it to her. She hadn't shown it to Mrs. D'Angelo either. Star read it, but Maddie had never shown it to anyone. Maddie sets her janitorial notebook on the desk, turns it so Uncle Potluck can see the list of things that need doing. And he looks so pleased. She shows him other pages too, notes about toilets and fire alarms and how many classrooms are in the school. Shows him a page she wrote while he was checking his email about how the whole school was dark silent this morning until Uncle Potluck jingled his keys in the doors and flipped on the lights. How he checked all the hallways and warmed them up, singing about something eloquence escaping and da-do-do-do-do. And even with his treacherous knee, dancing a few steps in each hallway. Maddie does not show him the front page, the one where she had written Maddie Breen and custodial apprentice underneath. Not yet. Uncle Potluck rubs his chin. I shall have to watch myself now that I know you're recording our custodial endeavors for posterity. What is posterity? Maddie asks. Uncle Potluck pulls a dictionary off the shelf, marked wisdom, and he hands it to her. Posterity is future generations. Maddie looks up custodial too. It doesn't say anything about doorknobs or mopping or leaky pipes. It just says care or supervision rather than efforts to cure. And guarding or maintaining. Maddie likes the idea of caring for the school, guarding it, making it safe. Uncle Potluck picks up his toolbox. You coming, Maddie May? Just a second, Maddie says. Doorknobs, she writes. Thursday, she writes. Safe and square. Chapter 8. All day, Maddie follows Uncle Potluck close, watching, making notes for the posterity people best she can. A few times she has to set her notebook aside, like for helping set up the playhouse in the kindergarten and for sink cleaning in the girls' restroom. It's hard writing neat with rubber gloves on. She stays close after she stays close after work too. Close after work too. Stays close, finding radio stations in the pickup truck and plucking garden beans and hunting softball-sized pumpkins in the tangle patch so close. Uncle Potluck turns and bumps her smack into the stone rabbit, toppling both of them to the dirt. Maddie May, Uncle Potluck says, pulling her back up to standing. I believe you have earned yourself a rest. I'm not tired, Maddie says. Not too tired, anyways. Uncle Potluck sets the stone rabbit to rights, tugs his hat down low. What I'm about to do, I must do alone, he says. Maddie blushes, thinking maybe he means use the bathroom, but turns out Uncle Potluck has a report to fill out for Principal Bonet. As I'm sure you are aware, great writing is a solitary pursuit. Maddie nods. She is aware, and she has writing to do too. Custodial notes she could not write down earlier. Okay, she says. Maddie nabs her notebook from its safe spot under the pillow and carries it to the rise, to Uncle Potluck's rock. She can see Miss Sweet's house from there. Its doors all shut and shades pulled down. The yard is quiet. Maddie lays herself flat on the rock, lays the notebook flat too. Custodial wisdom, day 2. 15 times 30. They had been to the cafeteria today. You had to go through the cafeteria to get to the big garbage bins outside, and Uncle Potluck had 2 trash cans for emptying. Maddie had tried helping, tried grabbing a handle and rolling a trash can herself, but Uncle Potluck had said no. Said the cans were too heavy, and should Maddie try rolling one, she might lose hold and get squished. And then none of her school clothes would fit right. Instead, Maddie followed, looking ahead for obstacles she might move from Uncle Potluck's path. There are things that you need to know about Mitchell P. Anderson Cafeteria, Uncle Potluck had said. He was right. There were many things that Maddie needed to know. Tuesdays are pizza days, he said. That's a single compost bucket day. The gourmands of Mitchell P. Anderson, they favor pizza, and it is the rare lunch tray that has even a crust left for disposal. Spaghetti and meatballs, that's the same. 1 bucket, tacos, submarine sandwich, all fine. Uncle Potluck adjusts his grip on a can and they kept rolling. Third Thursday of the month, though, that's punctuatory filet. Turkey drumettes, Chef Smith calls it. But I have seen him out back on many a Wednesday evenings, armed with a gopher call and a 2x4. We need 2, maybe 3 buckets on filet day. Maybe we could bring a bag lunch that day too, Maddie said. Uncle Potluck winked. Wise choice. Now, could you get that door for me? Maddie scooted around him to open the cafeteria door. It was huge, the cafeteria was, with yellow tables jackknifed in half and pushed against the walls. 15 yellow tables, maybe 30 seats at each. It's 450, Maddie writes in her notebook. 450 seats? Seems like that would be enough so everybody has a place. But Maddie knows different, knows that there can be thousands of seats, and still you might not find the place that you belong. All right, folks, that is chapter 8. I'd like for you to read chapter 9 on your own. I don't think it's too long. And then we'll talk about 1 through 9 when you're finished. All right. Thank you very much.